I'm Steve Oliver. I'm the co-founder and the Group Chief Executive Officer of musicMagpie, based in Stockport, Greater Manchester.
I'm Andy Leach. I'm an investment partner at NVM Private Equity, and I led the investment for the Northern Funds into musicMagpie back in 2015.
musicMagpie was started in 2007. The operational base was actually out of my converted garage. I'd met my co-founder, Walter Gleeson. We worked together in an entertainment retailer called Music Zone. And I guess whilst we worked there, we realised the power of used product, and the fact also there was this desire that had built for people to access online a service that was a trade-in service and provided cash for, at the time, as the name suggests, musicMagpie, CDs just originally in the first days, but then DVDs, games and books. And we started trading some product and buying product, providing what is still today, 13 and a half years later, the same principles of providing a smart, sustainable and trusted way for people to buy, rent and sell. We are a proud Stockport business and you know, we had everything we needed here. When I think back to 2015 and when we first met Andy and NVM, the business was ready to pivot. Having grown up and scaled our business in the product category of physical media with those CDs, DVDs and games, but also having used as our sales channels Amazon and eBay, where we were very proud, and we sit here now able to say the proud statement that we've become, over the years, the biggest transactional seller in the world in the history of both Amazon and eBay.
I think the thing that really impressed me was passion. It was about passion and enthusiasm for the business, but it wasn't kind of mad passion. It was kind of controlled, feet on the ground passion. And you know, you could see there that there was a clear strategy. Steve had thought things through, and he had a clear 4-point strategy that he wanted to deliver over the next couple of years. And that made it easy actually to hook into it.
One of the key drivers for the investment was we wanted to change the people selling to us model, where we could offer instant payment. So musicMagpie always used to ask customers to wait a little bit of time while we checked the product off and processed it into our warehouse, etc. And we built that into our working capital model. But actually, as people were selling us now a £300 or £400 phone, it's less of the decluttering and it was more emotive about getting the best price and being paid quickly. And that was really ready. And I think this was the catalyst to really grow our consumer tech business. So that was one major pivot that allowed us to grow our consumer tech business. It allowed us to develop our Magpie online store. So migrate people off the platforms where we could both, as well as buying from them, sell to people directly and have that direct relationship with consumers. But also then the third pivot was growing that US business, which was really quite embryonic still in 2015.
Magpie is a complicated business. You know, it's buying from consumers and selling to consumers at the same time. There are not many businesses doing that. And there's an awful lot that can go wrong in that. There's lots, and the unit value of a lot of these products is very small. So there's thousands of transactions going on every day and what have you. And I forget, Steve used to tell us how many CDs and DVDs got delivered every day. It was mind-boggling. But above that, you've got to have a clear strategy. And I think that's what they had at the time. That's what we really were able to buy into. And I think that's a theme that's gone through the whole of the investment cycle for me with Magpie. Yes, we started here and we finished up there, and it's a great result. But it wasn't a straight line. It was definitely not a straight line.
He shared our passion, he shared our enthusiasm, and I will go back to that word again, that I think, you know, the trust that we had in each other as people and as organisations was absolutely key to the relationship we have.
Magpie has grown up so much over the time. It's changed. It's a completely different business in lots of ways. Although it's doing the same stuff, Steve, it's buying and selling from consumers and doing something in the middle to make a bit more money. But, you know, it is a completely different business from what it was. But, you know, the culture is there. The strategy is there, the belief is there, and the passion is still there.
Joining forces with NVM and NVM making that investment really catalyse those big changes that were ready to happen in the business.
And Steve and I have had long discussions about whether IPO was the right route for musicMagpie. And I think actually it was at the end. The time we did it, it was. We had looked at it a couple of years earlier when I don't think it was. I don't think the business was quite sufficiently robust enough. I think some of the avenues that it was pursuing hadn't matured sufficiently. And also I think the market. The markets are kind of transient, aren't they? They kind of come and go. And I think the market was right. The circular economy, re-commerce, people are more focused on that now. And that's across the spectrum from private equity all the way through public markets.
I had to think long and hard about whether it was right for both myself or whether I thought about something for the business in the future under somebody else's leadership. But actually there was a bit of masochism perhaps in me, where actually it was the last professional challenge. I thought, I've done pretty much everything and almost a bit of romance in there as well, from the garage of the startup to the PLC and ringing the bell at the LSE, which sadly we only did virtually, but we'll still very much claim the achievement. But I will come back to also the business and was it right for the business? And it felt, as Andy just alluded to, it felt the right time.
It was one heck of a 6 months. It was. And I think that's why you've got to have a business that's of a certain scale that can kind of carry on operating while the chief exec and, his number two are completely distracted and dealing with all sorts of esoteric stuff.
It won't be right for everybody. And I think the one thing I would say is, of course, doing it virtually as well was an insanely intense process for 6 months.
You do get lots of support, but you need it. You absolutely need it. And it's not right for everybody. It's absolutely not. But I think, certain businesses will thrive in this situation. I've been doing this job for 30 odd years now. And I know there are phases in the market when IPOs become favourable because the market conditions are right and the businesses out there are right. And it works very, very well. It's not always the case, but I think, we're going through a phase at the moment where more businesses are considering that as being an appropriate kind of next stage of development for them.
It really supported the next level of growth plans that we've got for the business. We've launched both a disruptive new income model in terms of our monthly subscriptions for our iPhones that we launched 5 or 6 months ago and it's gone off like a house on fire. And also we've got a new disruptive buying method where we're putting smart drop kiosks into supermarket foyers where people can sell their old phone to us in 3 or 4 minutes. So when we've looked at the business and said, how do we disrupt ourselves? How do we evolve to that next level? We've got lots of other things going on as well, by the way, but this new income model and the new buying method both needed access to capital. And I think, as well as the brand profile, I think we're ready to really sort of push on with our, 40% of people say they've heard of musicMagpie when we ask them, and they think about us in terms of a great place to come and sell their product. That means 60% of people don't. And again, we can hope to really push on with that. So, I've never been more excited in 13 years of musicMagpie to be taking us on the next stage of the journey.
I think Steve will be a great publicly traded CEO. I think he gets it. As you've seen today, he's very eloquent and passionate, and I think it's been a great result for Magpie. It's not the end. I've said that, Steve, before. We are still significant investors in the business, and we don't see this as the end of the journey. We just see it as a staging post on the way, and we'll be as interested as anybody else in how the business performs over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years.